Kind of related to the previous question, you did mention, how economic growth needs to be, followed, pursued in a climate of democracy. But I mean, over the last 10 years or 20 years of, track record, it just seems that, the situation in terms of democracy in India is getting like worse by the day in terms of human rights abuses by the government when it tries to, acquire lands for all these development projects and all of that. I had a very specific question. For instance, like I think many people here would know of this example, the Bhopal gas disaster. And so, I mean, it's one of the biggest industrial disasters in the history of the planet. And the survivors in Bhopal, they've been fighting for 26 years now to get, basic medical attention, basic drinking water cleanup, and also to bring those who are guilty, the company which is Dow Chemicals, which is guilty for the disaster, bring them to justice, right? So, I mean, what has the Indian government done to ensure the protection of these people? And I mean, a lot of us, we actually think of this as one of the examples to see, how democracy in India functions. So if people who are fighting for 26 years to get clean drinking water do not get a drop of clean drinking water, I would be very hesitant in calling it a functioning democracy.
Well, I don't know if, there are always different perspectives on an issue, and clearly we do need to ensure that the victims or those who have suffered in Bhopal are adequately compensated. In fact, it is our, the judgment which was given on the Bhopal case, I think, which caused considerable public outrage in India, and I think the government has taken the view that they will look at undertaking the cleanup of that area. Earlier it was an issue whether it is the company which has to do it or the government will do it, who is responsible for it. But I think the government has decided that they will put forward their, that other issue can be, taken up separately, but they will look at doing this. And in over these years, I think quite a lot of compensation has also been given to those who suffered, but clearly more is required and should be done. I don't agree with you that, in these years democracy has worsened. I think we have a far more vigilant media, we have a far more vigilant civil society, and groups like yours who agitate on all these issues. So I think that it has actually become a far more participative democracy because of the changes which have taken place, both in terms of broadening the political base, decentralization of decision making, and in terms of the much more vigorous media which keeps an eye on whatever is happening.
Please.
You brought up the point that the framers of the Constitution put in the reservation clause of 23.5%, but they also hope that it would go down in the future, but it has only gone up. Do you think the government has a plan of a time scale when it will start coming down, or will it ever come down?
Well, at the moment, I think it's still at the stage where, identity politics is very much at the a core of political mobilization in India. And much of this mobilization, because of the nature of our economy, has also been taking place in terms of mediating, benefits within the government system. But as the economy expands beyond the bounds of government, I'm sure that pressures for reservation will also come down. I think there's a fine balance which needs to be maintained between encouraging talent and merit, and between affirmative action for socially disadvantaged groups. It's not always easy to get that right balance, and societies tend to pull in one direction or the other. I think at the moment it's pulled very much in the direction of reservation. But I think that as the economy broadens and the sphere outside government increases, pressures will reduce.
Is there a time scale, 10 years, 20 years?
I can't. I'm not an astrologer.
Gentleman in the red vest, yes.
Ambassador Shankar, as an Indian, I'm very proud that we're growing at 8-9%. But and while macroeconomists sort of disagree on exactly how much of that GDP growth is sustainable, exactly in raw numbers, there's a lot of concern about the inflation because it's affecting people differentially. The people who could not afford things before are not able to afford these things more now that we have such inflation. And there are various views that the monetary policy that the Reserve Bank has is not helping because we've raised interest rates 6 times in the last whatever time. So what are your views on first of all, do you agree that 8 to 10% is sustainable over a long period of time, 5 to 10 years? Number two, what are some of the things that we could be doing to help this?
I do think 8 to 10% growth is sustainable over a period of time. I think there are several reasons. One is that the Indian savings rate has been in the region of 34 to 36%. Similarly, the investment rate has been in the region of 36 to 38%. I think on the savings side, we would probably need to up it to about 40% to get a 10% growth rate. And that's feasible. So given this, I think it is possible that we will be able to sustain a growth rate of 8 to 10%. I think the other factor is that the market is expanding because more people are being pulled into the middle class. And then we have a young demographic where the overwhelming majority of our people are below 25 years of age. So as these people come into the working age group, their energy will provide, and their consumption will provide a motor for expansion of demand in the Indian market. We'll also have to undertake the whole process of infrastructure development. So you're looking at a number of factors which will pull growth in India. Yes, inflation has become a concern since last year. It was